One of the state's best-loved cultural institutions, the Gallery of Modern Art, has turned 10. And tonight there's a big party to celebrate. Karina Carvalho has stepped out of the studio to be there. Karina, how are they celebrating?
Thousands of people are expected to kick off the party tonight, Josh. VIPs and dignitaries have already been treated to a formal celebration. But it's not just fabulous parties that are marking this 10th birthday. Many pieces have been commissioned for the anniversary. By the gallery's main doors behind me is a bronze sculpture by Aboriginal artist Judy Watson. It'll be a permanent reminder of the city's Indigenous presence and history. Alyssa Betts has been following the complicated process that led up to the sculpture's installation.
A who's who of different worlds gathered for the grand unveiling of the centrepiece of Goma's big birthday bash. Toro, as it's called, may be a sculpture fit for a modern art institution, but this complex project, months in the making, also has its feet firmly planted in history.
The thing is that wherever you are in Australia, you are standing on Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be. And those stories are constant.
Judy Watson's sculpture has been taking shape in this cavernous Brisbane workshop and is based on butterfly fishing nets used by the Aboriginal peoples of Brisbane and Moreton Bay.
Sometimes I feel like people don't really know that our people have been making string and ropes for hundreds and thousands of years.
Fine arts student Elisa Jane Carmichael has been helping recreate the net on a giant scale with modern materials on a very tight time frame.
I was weaving on the plane recently and a man said to me, "What are you making with that hay?"
The net's given form and life by styrofoam shapes before sand moulds are created for a searing lava of bronze that's been heated to 1200 degrees Celsius.
It's almost like alchemy. It's just beautiful. It's not anywhere else and it's just here. Have a look down here.
For Watson, a key feature is the slow dance of light and shadow around the installation, now able to be enjoyed by everyone, as Toro stands as a cultural reminder by the Brisbane River.
I wanted to have a living presence and I wanted to speak of the living tradition of Indigenous people in the area.
Art honouring life. Alyssa Betts, ABC News.
Many public favourites have been brought out of Goma's archives for the summer celebrations. I was given a behind-the-scenes look before some of the big crowd pleasers were put back on display. Icelandic artist Hafnil Darata Totir's hair installation Neverscape is proving a popular attraction. It was specially commissioned for Goma's birthday, but the other 250 works in Sugarspin were chosen by a single curator from thousands of pieces in the gallery's storeroom.
So it's really been kind of exploring this kind of treasure trove of items, so an incredible responsibility and opportunity for me.
4,000 mirror shards were carefully pieced together to create this 6-panel, 12-metre-long mosaic. And while most will admire it for its beauty, it also has a political message.
Munir was very affected by the story of a young woman who was a part of a series of protests in Tehran, Neda. I think it gives this beautiful sense of sparkle and hope.
These headdresses from Papua New Guinea were acquired after curators saw them being worn at a ceremonial gathering.
We feel they're very much important artworks and worthy of being seen in a museum context.
Keeping them in pristine condition requires a lot of care. This is the conservation room at the Gallery of Modern Art. The works are brought here for the staff to prepare them before they go on display in the galleries. One such piece is fan favourite Ron Muick's In Bed. The giant woman was unveiled in 2005 and more than a decade on, visitors still ask to see it. Why is this work so popular when it's on display?
I think people identify with this woman, and yet she's also so enormous. She's quite a spectacle. The scale is extraordinary. These little details of the creases of the skin, this sense of gravity affecting her, the pink coloration.
And if you want to know what she's looking at, see for yourself tomorrow when Sugarspin opens. One of the big names commissioned to mark Goma's milestone is Anthony McCall, a British artist who sculpts with light. McCall's works are all about the experience. He sat down with me in his only Brisbane interview. Anthony McCall, thank you for speaking to ABC News. Tell me about your work crossing.
Well, when you walk down a corridor to get into the room and you find yourself in an extremely dark space. And then you can make out 4 cones of light projecting from the ceiling down to the floor. And you hear the sound of an ocean wave rushing through the room and crashing down at one end.
And how do you want people to feel when they're walking through it?
I want them to feel engaged. On the whole, my visitors do draw themselves into the work. You have to sort of get involved. You have to walk around it because it is, in a way, a sculptural work. You need a little time because it's changing over time, therefore it's a rather cinematic work.
How important are cultural institutions like Goma?
They're enormously important. From the point of view of an artist working with installation, only an institution can take work like that on. A museum is in the business of preserving works of art and showing them repeatedly over a long period of time. And so they become a wonderful repository of different periods of work. An institution will always outlive an individual.
And so were you particularly keen to be involved in the 10th anniversary celebrations?
I think I was hugely honoured to be invited to be involved.
Anthony McCall, thank you for your time.
It's a great pleasure.
Well, the party goes on here at South Bank. Shortly, the doors will open to the public for the celebrations to continue into the night. There's so much happening here. If you can't get to Goma this weekend, don't worry. The major exhibitions will continue through until mid-April.